Now, I kind of don't want to tell this story because it's a little bit embarrassing, but it is crucial when you're coming to Thailand. You need to know stuff like this so you don't get trapped and you don't get tricked into the same position I was in. So it's about 3 years ago. It was my first time in Thailand and I was on nights out, you know, getting drunk, just spending like holiday money. I think at the time I was around the area of like Krabi, something like that, and I just finished a wild night out and I was really drunk. While on my way home, there was a girl that drove past on a motorbike, saw me and then did a U-turn, come back and asked for my name. And this is where the story begins. If you've been to Thailand before, you'll know that freelancers are quite common in tourist areas. These are women who exchange their time, their company for money. So immediately my first thought when she approached me was, okay, it's just a freelancer, I'm just gonna go on my way. But she was overflowing with telling me that she liked me and everything, and we just got talking. I was drunk at this point, so of course I'm just gonna conversate a little bit. And then she offered, hey, why don't you come with me? And I was like, no, don't worry, I'm not here for like paying for anyone, I just wanna go home. And then she said, no pay, I really like you. Me being drunk, wow, of course I believed it. So you might be thinking, okay, this is just another story where a guy goes with a girl, she says it's for free, and then at the end she says that, oh, you gotta pay. Gets a little bit more awkward than that. So obviously I liked the look of her and she said that everything was for free and she wanted to go with me. So I was like, okay, well, where do we go? So she said, jump on the back of the bike, let's go to my room. Me being 3 AM drunk at this point and on my own, very stupid decision for me to actually accept and go on a stranger's bike to wherever she was taking me. Obviously looking back at that now, that was about 3 years ago and my first time in Thailand. And yeah, let's face it, I was just a bit of an idiot. So I ended up getting on the back of the bike and then we went to her room, which is about 5 minutes away. Now I can't really explain what happened next, but let's just say we went back to the hotel room, enjoyed some Netflix and played some Scrabble. Before I explain what happened next, do you have a story that when you come to Thailand you got tricked or scammed or just like a really awkward situation that by saying this hopefully other people can avoid? If you have one of them stories, please pop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear and I'm sure everyone else would as well. Okay, so I went with the girl and we had a few kind of Netflix episodes together, you know, and then, you know, it was time to call it a night. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. And she was like, don't worry, I'll give you a lift home. Now at this point, I was staying in a hostel. I was not staying in a hotel or anything. So by this point, it was quite late in the night or early in the morning. I was still quite drunk and I was like, yeah, sure, okay, give me a lift back to the hostel. We go back to the hostel, I jumped off the bike and I was like, okay, thank you for the night, really nice to meet you, like maybe I can get your number or something. I grabbed her number and then when she stopped me and said, where's the money? Obviously I declined. I was like, you know, you said there was no payment here, like I don't have any money on me, like I'm not sure what you're on about. Now the fact I was actually staying in a hostel makes this 10 times worse. So after declining, of course, she gets a little bit annoyed and then puts her motorbike down and instantly follows me into the hostel. Grabs me, turns me around and says, I will literally scream this place down if you don't give me money. Now this is where being in a hostel was so much worse than being in a hotel. A hotel would have a reception, I could maybe sort things out, maybe with security or something. And obviously if she screams the place down, you know, everyone's kind of in their rooms. Being in a hostel, you're kind of surrounded by everyone all the time. So even at 4 AM, there was a couple of people down in the lobby area. And then obviously in my room, I was sharing with like 8 people. Out of pure embarrassment and the prevention of further embarrassment, I said, okay, maybe I'll get you something. So I went up to my dorm room and then went into like my locker area. As soon as I turned around, she is there. She's followed me up there. So she now knows where I'm staying and what dorm I'm staying at. Absolute disaster. So the only money that I had in my locker at that time was 500 baht. So I got the money out the locker, I give her the 500 baht, and she was not happy. So she then proceeded to shout at me and ask for an extra 1,000 baht. So out of sheer embarrassment, I left the hostel as quick as I could and just started walking down the street, of which obviously she followed. I knew she was following me because she was being quite loud. But I knew the further I walked, the further away she's getting away from her motorbike. So essentially, the more we kept walking, the more she kept looking back, and then eventually she turned around to go and get her motorbike. It's at this point that I scurried into like a little side alley and then just kind of sat down on my phone and just chilled out for a bit. After waiting for about 20 minutes, I eventually went back to my hostel and she was gone. The worst thing was, when I went to sleep that night, I was constantly in fear that she would come back to the hostel, to that same dorm room, and find me and cause a commotion. Now this is an example of how nothing in Thailand is free, especially when it comes to the nightlife and of course the women. Now hopefully you're not going to be as stupid as I was 3 years ago and you're going to have a little bit more common sense about you. But here's another story of how nothing in Thailand is free. So the first time I come to Thailand, again, I was in some of the bars, some of the go-go bars. I got chatting to one of the girls and she actually really liked me. I liked her and we spent a lot of time together. There was no payments, nothing, there was no bar fines, nothing like that. We just generally spent time together because we liked each other. But on the back end of my holiday, I had about 2 weeks left. I wanted a, let's say, change of scenery. Now I don't mean to say that I just wanted to go off and sleep around and ditch this girl. Having only 2 weeks of my holiday left, I didn't want to spend it with every single night being with her. I'd rather much be with my friends and just enjoy my time and have a little bit more freedom. It got to the point where I would even be just at a bar, just talking to a girl, just having some company. Nothing going on, just enjoying a drink and just with my friends. If she was to walk past and see me, oh boy, there would be hell to pay. It actually happened on 2 occasions where I was just in a bar, just talking to one of the girls and just with my friends, and she would see me and then be hurling abuse. This made it so awkward, and obviously the girl I was currently talking to just really didn't want to continue talking anymore. Understandably, of course. So there is a couple of examples of where nothing in Thailand really is free. Obviously there is the odd occasion where yes, it will be, and hopefully you won't be as stupid as I was. But if you are someone who's coming to Thailand and you want to know the mistakes you should avoid when visiting the bars, then you need to click this video here, because I can guarantee you there's some stuff which you need to know.